way, did you launch this show with the idea of talking about gay mushrooms?
Yes.
That's why you launched this.
I have some gay mushrooms here.
Minister. You just wanted to do a segment about queer mushrooms.
Thank you for teeing up my gay mushrooms.
Wow.
They don't look very gay.
Wow.
I mean, they look like normal mushrooms to me.
Well,
are you feeling a gay connection to these mushrooms?
Listen, I feel a gay connection to a lot of things, Piers, including yourself right now.
Really?
I would say that mushrooms scientifically have about 23,000 different genders. So that's where this exhibit is coming from.
In this video, Piers Morgan debates woke comedian James Barr on the topic of mushrooms having genders, which relates to the Queer Nature Initiative by Kew Gardens that explores connections between natural diversity and LGBTQIA identity. However, James Barr claims that he sees a link between mushrooms and queer identity, even going so far as to suggest that mushrooms scientifically have around 23,000 genders. This argument pushes the idea that the complexity of nature, such as with mushrooms, mirrors the notion of gender being fluid and beyond traditional boundaries, which many would argue is an overreach and a misinterpretation of biological reality. Let's see what else Piers Morgan has to say about these claims of mushrooms having genders.
23,000 genders of mushroom.
Exactly.
Okay, there's not many. This is a mushroom.
No, well, ask a scientist if you don't believe me.
I've got to ask a scientist. This is called a mushroom. That's it.
But they're fungi.
Nothing sexual about mushrooms.
What? Sex is not about mushrooms, no.
So why are we having some queer celebration of things like mushrooms?
I just don't understand why you care. Why is this such a problem?
I care because I don't see the point of it.
Because, well, it's
We've just had Pride Month, where the entire month was taken up with turning everything LGBTQ, and now it's 2+ something else, right? It's extended. Right? So letters I can't even remember.
The rest of the year is
Why does Kew Gardens have to go queer? I don't get it.
Why can't it?
Why should it?
Well, because
why can't we just have straight plants?
Because I tell you what it's doing. It's making queer people feel happy, and ultimately, isn't something.
Sorry, but society shouldn't just be about
thing?
changing everything so that you, James Barr, get your kicks out looking at a kinky mushroom.
Listen, you might want to spend your life being miserable, but I tell you what really
I'm
is
very
going on
happy.
Here. I'll tell you what's
I'm not
actually
miserable
happening. Like yesterday, you lost an NTA to a gay man, so you've decided to find any story you can to attack queer people because you want to get your own back on Graham Norton.
I hadn't actually thought of that.
That's exactly what's happening here.
It is true. It is entirely Graham Norton. It's entirely Graham Norton's sexuality that enraged me.
Piers Morgan is still confused by James Barr's reasoning on Kew Gardens' decision to adopt its Queer Nature Initiative. James Barr defends his point by saying that the program makes queer people happy and is a positive step towards inclusion, but Piers Morgan, however, quickly responds to this, arguing that society shouldn't even feel forced to change everything just to accommodate one group of people. This raises a bigger question though. Why do far-left figures like James Barr keep pushing their ideologies on everyone, causing institutions like Kew Gardens to change their practices and adopt initiatives that might not even align with their original purpose or resonate with even their own visitors?
Let's bring in Tomi Lahren. Tomi, I just don't know where we start with this. Kew Gardens is like the epicenter of British heritage. The establishment. It's like you go there with your mum and dad, you take your cucumber sandwiches and you look at lovely plants. What you don't do is think about their sexuality or 23,000 genders or have a queer celebration of mushrooms. What is happening?
Well, I'll tell you this, what concerns me is if there are 23,000 genders for mushrooms and fungus, I'm a little concerned because the LGBTQ plus barbecue is already too long for most Americans and most people to memorize. So now if we have 23,000 genders added to that, I'm not sure we want to take our cue from plants. But you hit the nail on the head, Piers. Why does everything have to be about queer this, gay that? Why is that the only thing that leftists seem to respond to? It's either race, gender, or climate change. Race, gender, climate change. That's it. Everything has to be gay. Everything has to be about race. Everything has to be about the planet.
Piers Morgan then brings in Tomi Lahren, a conservative political commentator known for her unapologetic takes on cultural issues, progressive politics, and identity politics. She calls out James Barr's statements on mushrooms having 23,000 genders as unnecessary, claiming that LGBTQIA and other woke ideologies are already too complicated for most Americans to memorize and understand. Tomi Lahren is spot on with her statements, as this is what most people see wrong with left ideologies. James Barr's statements support this, as having the need to address that mushrooms having genders is completely unnecessary. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, there has been a whole debate actually about whether plants are racist. I remember that one as well. The thing about this,
That's probably a debate that you had, though.
no, but the thing about this, James, is I just don't see the point of it other than to wind people up, which I think you're almost admitting.
No, absolutely not. It's not winding anyone.
But
It's
imagine
winding
if I announce tomorrow we're going to go down to Chelsea Flower Show and we're going to have a straight day where straight people like me will go, straight people like me, who, by the way, for the record, are not remotely homophobic, right? Go down to Chelsea Flower Show and we make everything about the straight sexual affinity.
You did just say Graham Norton's sexuality enraged you. So.
No, it was obviously a joke.
Was it?
You made a stupid, facile point about his sexuality.
Interesting.
But I don't care whether he's gay or not. I care that he beat me. That pisses me off. But let's go back to the Chelsea Flower Show. If I had a straight day or a straight week at the Chelsea Flower Show and started talking about the straight heterosexual affinity that we all felt with fungi and daffodils, you would go completely nuts.
I really wouldn't.
And so look at these white, straight gammon abusing us in this manner, excluding us in this manner.
If you and Tommy want to set up a straight mushroom exhibit with loads of straight, grey, boring, binary mushrooms...
I'm not doing it.
Waving guns around, like,
James,
go for it.
I'm not doing it. It's your community that's doing it.
Listen, you're the one that's hosting a debate on an international platform about mushrooms.
Yes.
Gay mushrooms.
Because the event is happening.
Gay mushrooms. When I was younger,
I'm not calling them gay mushrooms.
What do you want to do when you're older? And I said, you know what? I want to defend queer mushrooms.
It's not a gay mushroom. Look, you just eat it like a mushroom. Right?
Wow, I hope you enjoyed that.
They're not poisonous, are they?
You know you're now queer because you can catch queerness from a mushroom, by the way.
Piers Morgan is still clearly confused by the point of all of this. He shows his frustration by how much James Barr is defending his view that nature and queer identity are somehow connected. While everyone has the right to their own opinions and beliefs, I feel that when these woke ideas are pushed too strongly, it can alienate the opposing side and make them even more resistant. This is becoming increasingly evident as debates over issues like this are growing to the point where even nature itself is being tied to queer identity, as you can see here. The more these ideas are pushed, the more it seems to create more of a divide between different perspectives rather than uniting people together.
Tommy, I think, Tommy, my overriding view, like you said, everything has to be reduced to this kind of stuff. It is pandering, virtue signaling nonsense. But what worries me is that the corporate world, like Kew Gardens and their management, they get sucked into this. They think it's a good idea. Whereas I can imagine lots of people who attend these events will be thinking, what is going on? Why are they doing this?
Yeah, I think it's just out of step with most people. I don't know why everything has to be about sex and sexual preference. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think most human beings go about their day worried about the gender of a mushroom or a fungus or what gender they prefer to sleep with. I don't know why everything has to be reduced to this. Can we all just go about our lives? It hasn't been until 2020, I believe, that everything had to be about how you identify and what pronouns you use. Can't everything just be as it is without having to dissect the heterosexuality, their homosexuality, or the queerness of everything, give everything some kind of a queer rating?
I totally agree.
Overall, I believe Piers Morgan made strong arguments against James Barr's ideas on queer nature, such as the 23,000 genders mushrooms supposedly have. He calls out all the BS that James Barr tries to push onto people, calling it unnecessary and just adding more confusion and divide amongst people. Tomi Lahren adds to these points by questioning why everything has to be about the far left's agenda on pushing woke ideologies on everything, as far as reaching nature as it seems. Anyways, that's about it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching.